When we experience trauma at a young age, the amygdala is hyperdeveloped. Can we change the programming? Most of us have actually been traumatized. To what degree may be different from person to person, but just being born into this world, you're traumatized. I mean, because the cell's whole nature is to evolve. And when you're a child, that's the only thing you know is to love, be loved, and evolve. That's what you're here to do. So the second that starts getting disrupted with parents meaning well, or society meaning well and trying to tell you, no, you can't do that, or no, stay away from that, no, stay away from that heat. When we hear the word no, that's actually traumatizing. So that begins the trauma. As we go through our lives, those first few years, we're being programmed into trauma. Like I said, the intensity is going to vary from person to person. When you're a little kid and trauma occurs, the amygdala is the part of the brain that's our panic center. So it's stimulated the second you have trauma. Now remember, when you have trauma, like you could be a baby, you could even be in your mother's womb. In a lot of cases, women who are abused or going through traumas of their own while they're feeding the baby and nurturing the baby in their womb, babies are being traumatized right then. Like it's happening right then. It's around them, parents fighting, a mother who's always crying or screaming at people, that is traumatizing the baby. Amygdala is stimulated. It's in a part of the brain that it's not supposed to be the leader. But unfortunately, when it's being stimulated, what happens is as those traumas continue to repeat, it's similar to a muscle, if you will. You think of a muscle, what happens when you lift? You lift repeatedly and the muscle is getting stimulated. So the more stimuli it receives, the more it responds. So it develops. Now, if you nurture getting the stimuli spiking up in the amygdala, then what's happening? It's developing. And remember that the forebrain is really not quite fully developed ever until about, I think it's like the age of 25. So you figure if the first couple years is just the foundational stuff like motor skills, learning to read letters, learning yes and no, learning how to walk, all those subconscious activities, that's what we're learning up to the age of 5. Then from 5 to 7, we're learning how to learn. And then from 7 on, we're learning logic. So if that's all happening from 0 to 5 to 7, and then the logic's really actually starting to form more heavily and we're getting more hardwired with the logic at the age of 7 on. What they're saying with some kids now, like 5 on, because they say it's 5 to 7, that window they can actually start learning logic, learning how to build their own logic in response to the environment. So if that's not happening till even say 5 at the earliest, then up until the age of 5, if that amygdala has been stimulated, that has become the foreground through which logic centers are being formed.